Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest edition of Radio Kart. Our season is well underway, Nelson. We've got lots of action all over the place. Karting has started. We're in the month of May, which for IndyCar fans everywhere is exciting.
Indy time!
And we've already gotten 3 races under our belt at 61 Kartway.
Yeah, spring is in full swing here. We've got racing kicking off in almost every series. Joseph said 3 races now at 61 Kartway. Davenport Kart Club has a few races under their belt. 206 Cup had their first weekend a few weekends back at Concept Motor Speedway, and we've even got some big races literally right around the corner to discuss, too.
We've got some huge races right around the corner to discuss.
Yes.
But first, we should probably start off with some of the results from the first couple weeks of racing, and I understand that you have those on the notepad in front of you, Nelson.
Indeed, I do. So, I'm just kind of going to be going over results from 61 Kartway here, and briefly point standings as well, just to kind of paint that picture for you, I suppose. Should I start with here? Kind of work my way up, like the lower, like the kids and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in Junior Supercan, Josh Carlson has won every single race.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
I am serious, Joseph. He's that much of a badass. He has dominated every race that he has entered in.
Wow.
And in Kid Kart, I'm going to totally botch this name, the pronunciation, so apologies in advance. Terry Pavolonis has won all 3 races as well.
And that's Kid Karts?
Yes.
You know, we've had a couple different Kid Kart racers out this year, but good for him. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Winning all the races he's been in so far.
Now we get into Junior 1, which is actually shaping up to be a really interesting category to watch.
Yeah, this category has kind of been expanded since last year. We got some new older drivers that are able to race in this Junior 1 category.
Definitely, and biggest thing is I always kind of used to look at Junior 2 as being like this. That Junior 2 had some damn good racing. Junior 1 seems to have taken over that mantle in that can't really tell who's going to win, but I can tell you who's won the 3 races already. Miles Doherty leads the points with 2 wins under his belt, but those were not necessarily easy for him to come by, because Nicholas Peppers and Carter Nelson are second and third in points and seem to be chasing him right down.
Peppers. Now, where have we heard that name before, Nelson?
Probably from someone who happened to be on the side of the road after he threw his chain.
Oh, right.
No, but I'll get to that later. But surprisingly enough, the 3rd win in Junior 1 actually comes from outside the top 3, and the race was won by Matteo Naranjo, and I think that would have been just 2 weeks ago, actually, he won that race. Yeah. It's a very tight category, lots of fun racing, but of course we can't forget about Junior 2, which is just as entertaining, I'd say.
Oh yeah, the Junior 2 guys are always fun to watch. A little bit more experience, and they're working with that lightweight. So.
Yeah. Now, so Donovan Ruffner has actually won all 3 races, but don't take that as a sign of him just being the dominant car that no one can catch. Because, no, people can catch him. It's just he's been doing a good job at holding on to that.
Yeah.
Because you always see people right behind him chasing him down for that win. But he just seems to have that last 5% to close the deal. So, excellent category. A lot of good racing in there. Point standings-wise, Hannah Nelson is second in that, with Ashton Wheeler third, Kayla Carlson fourth, and Max Gates, who actually only raced the first 2 races, down in fifth. Some news on him later.
Yeah, and actually a little bit of news on Kayla Carlson. She's actually racing a Margay chassis this year, which we happen to know the racer that was racing it last year, Nick Ockenfels. So as Kayla now has that chassis, and then Ashton Wheeler, is Also, kind of in the same boat as Max as far as his option year, but like you said, we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah. So kind of the big category that we're
The big kahuna.
I mean, yeah, we might be a little selfish in saying that this is like the main show or something here, but the senior 206, which should not be confused for senior medium or senior heavy, because yeah, that's all one thing, as we've discussed in recent shows as well. So, if it wasn't for what happened in race 1, Chad Peppers would actually have won all 3 races in this category.
Well, we had some twists.
He is incredibly fast, but while he may be fast, he is not the best at looking after his stuff.
Yeah, well, I think we all saw his chain failure in the first race, Nelson, and we thought, oh my goodness, we have a shot, because he was pretty clearly driving away. But he had a failure, and that can happen in racing. And that presented an opportunity for somebody different to sneak through and get a win in the first race of the season.
Yeah. Now, speaking through there, can't say that. Speaking of sneaking through, Gage Kemp
Say that 3 times fast.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I'm trying to do here. Gage Kemp ended up winning that first race on debut in this category at 61, actually. Yeah. Because this last year, he was running Junior 2 with Ruffner and Max Geitzenauer and all those kids. So.
Yeah, and I don't think it's really any surprise to us, Nelson, that Gage has already broken through and gotten a win. He's obviously very talented and very skilled behind the wheel, and I think we expected him to transfer into the 206 class, the senior 206 class, almost seamlessly, like he was essentially a veteran already. But, he is still young, and he's technically got that rookie senior stripe on him. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on him throughout the year and see how he performs as the season goes on.
Yeah. Should we go over points for senior 206 as well?
Exactly. I think that's good.
So, yeah, Peppers leads by quite a bit with his 2 points. And then your host here, Nelson Ulinski, in second, actually, thanks to my consistency and speed I've found. Gage Kemp with his 1 win in third. And then Brett Dierks in fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, he's he might not have the most speed, but he is a very consistent driver in the fact that he shows up for the races and that he doesn't throw chains and that he doesn't get disqualified for being underweight.
I feel like you might be referring to someone there now.
I might be, but that's all I'm going to say on that matter. And then, of course, reigning champion Nick Ockenfeld's down in fifth. He's actually missed the last 2 races now, I think.
Yep. And so I think some interesting points to note out here in our point standings. Obviously, Nick Ockenfeld's did a little bit of 206 Cup stuff.
Yes.
So he missed a race there because of that. And I think, Peppers has kind of come away with some of these wins, not having exactly all the competition nipping at his heels. I know I haven't been there for 2 weeks, and I won't be there this next week. And I know you've been doing a pretty good job kind of keeping him, true and not letting him just, lay back a little bit. You engage. But I think as we roll further into the season, we'll see our numbers kind of increase a little bit. And those points may either shift around or something different may happen. And we got to remember a double points race for the mid-season championship.
And championship year for me, baby. I'm not going to let this thing go away quietly. So...
Yeah, so
it's going to be an interesting year.
I think with that, it's probably a good idea to lead into our segment we did last year, Nelson.
What's it called, Joseph?
Our crystal ball segment. Yes, we're going to be looking into the future, predicting champions for the 2018 season.
Wow, you did that pretty well, yeah. I thought you weren't going to want to call it the crystal ball or something like that. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so we're just going to be doing this for senior, or are we going to be talking about junior categories as well? Or
I think senior will be our main focus, but let's talk about the junior 2 category as well.
Okay. Well, I think... hold on, I'm sorry. You did the intro. I shouldn't be doing this. You did the intro for the segment. We had some news about Maximus Gates
Oh, yes, we forgot to mention
this. Right,
this.
so I mentioned how he was 5th in Junior 2. That's because he has only run 2 races. He actually is probably going to be moving up to senior.
Yeah. He actually ran senior a couple weeks ago, right?
He did, actually, his debut. Yeah, which seemed like he found some pretty decent speed.
Yeah.
Did a good job for his first weekend in the category. But, yeah, it sounds like that his father, Scott, might be taking a step back. And I say might because, plans can change.
Yeah.
But he might be taking a step back. Max will be running senior full-time, basically, now. So, congratulations on him from graduating from Junior 2 into the senior category.
I think another interesting point to note is that Ashton Wheeler is also in his option year. So if he were to, midway through the season, want to bump up the senior, he could if he wanted to. Kind of a good note, I think, to make there. And then Kayla Carlson has that option next year as well.
Okay.
So,
back
definitely.
to the crystal ball.
Yes, back to our crystal ball.
Yeah, which, it's funny you were actually talking about this being Ashton Wheeler's option year. Because, in my opinion anyways, while Donovan has won these last three races, I feel like as the season goes on, we're going to see a shift in points. And I definitely think Donovan is on a good run now.
Mm-hmm.
But it would not surprise me in the slightest to see Ashton catch him up. So, for that reason, Ashton is my prediction in Junior 2 for the championship by the end of the year.
So, because I know a little bit about the racing schedules of these Junior 2 drivers and what I think they're going to end up doing.
Oh, gosh. Here's Joseph with his insider information.
This is my insider information, y'all. So, Ashton Wheeler, I know, is doing the Margay Ignite Series. So, I'm not going to pick him to win the championship because I do believe that'll cause him to, yes, have his 2 drops be zeros, but I think he'll have another 0 or 2 in the category because of that. I believe Donovan is looking very strong right now, but you never know what kind of issues can plague that guy throughout the season. And with him and Bryce Shaw, I know, will be racing in the Junior 2 later in the season. I don't know if Donovan will continue to dominate the way he does. Now, with that said, Bryce, I think, has missed too many races to compete for a championship already.
That was my thinking as well, because he's certainly fast. But, I mean, and yes, sure, it's only been 3 races. Mm-hmm. But still, a hole is a hole, and it seems like that's a bit of a steep hole to dig out of, to be honest.
So, if I was going to predict someone to win the championship, I'd actually predict Kayla Carlson, and here's why. I'm getting ready to back up my facts here, folks.
Oh, this will
because she's also running that Margay Ignite Series, but I don't think she's running it like full time. So she'll have a couple drops in there. And then the other thing I think is she's consistent. Now I know you're looking at that like, well, for first and fourth, Joseph, like that's not very consistent.
I mean, but hey, we're only 3 races in. I can't really judge her off of that. I mean, she's been there consecutively, unlike Bryce.
The reason I'm saying she's consistent is just from what I've seen from the first week of racing. I haven't seen her do the other race. So, from what I've seen is she doesn't really panic under an attack scenario. And I think she's going to find speed midway through the season and possibly contend with Donovan. And to be honest with you, Donovan hasn't been put in a position yet to where he's had to deal with like people passing him or getting a bump from somebody. It's kind of been the opposite way around. He's been able to kind of pass people and kind of be the aggressor. So I think with the roles reversed, I think Kayla may be able to prevail and beat Donovan for the championship this year. Yeah,
and I just want to point out that this discussion here is kind of a testament to how competitive this category is.
Certainly.
Because here we are with totally different answers for totally different reasons. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, even if you don't want to race, just come out and watch racing at 61, even if it's just for the Junior 2 stuff.
Yeah, we always love seeing fans at the track. I thought it was cool. The first week, there's a group of fans that had gone over to like the toilet bowl section, and typically you don't see people on that side of the track. So it was kind of cool to see people along that fence line on the back side of the track the first week. But with that, we'll move into the second part of our crystal ball.
Before we do that, I just had a thought, actually.
Yeah.
Did Tony Nielsen name it the toilet bowl not because it's shaped like a toilet bowl, but because he wants people to come to the track and see what the hell he's talking about?
That could be it.
Yeah, it's a marketing ploy.
It's a marketing ploy. Gosh, gotta love. Always thinking about ways to get people to the track.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the toilet bowl is, you gotta come out and see, because it's kind of mysterious, and it's worth a watch.
We gotta buy a billboard in like downtown Davenport and put up and say, "Come see the giant toilet bowl at 61 Cartway."
The world's largest toilet bowl.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, like, even though we are calling it the toilet bowl, no offense to it, it is an incredibly amazing corner. That's just what we call it.
Yes, we don't flush our toilet bowl too often.
Hey, you flushed me off there.
Oh, now we're getting back to this. All right. Anyway, moving on to our senior predictions, and I'll let you lead off with the senior predictions, Nelson.
Okay. So, I don't think it will be anyone in the top 2. I'm just going to say that right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Chad Peppers has shown up for every race. He's been
don't
incredibly
make the
fast.
same mistake I made last year. Is what you're thinking right now.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's just like last year he kind of stopped showing up after a while.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling the same thing might happen.
Well, I've got inside information for you on that, because I
Why
do believe...
you always let me speak and be like, but with my insider information, I happen to know.
I believe you're correct. I believe he's going to start showing up less as the season goes on, because I believe he has family plans, and he's going to be racing at Davenport and 61, so I don't know that he'll be able to race at 61 all year long. So I believe you're on the right track.
Okay, so yeah, that's my reason for not saying Peppers. My reason for not saying myself is I'm not a selfish jerk.
Well.
But not in all seriousness, though, I actually think Gage Kemp will be the 2018 champion. Because here's the thing why I say that. Yes, Joseph was saying earlier how like he didn't miss a beat getting into the senior category.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I thought, it is pretty similar to Junior 2, but there are some differences. I thought I figured he would have speed for the first couple of races, but to run how he has,
it's been impressive.
It has been very impressive.
Yeah.
So I think if he can do this now, what can he do later on in the year when he's even on more stable ground?
Mm-hmm.
So, Gage Kemp gets my vote for that championship there.
So I have to say I pretty much agree with you, but because I can't agree with you, I'm not going to, because Gage Kemp is obviously, he's proven right off the bat that he's a championship contender, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way his schedule works out, he's doing the 3 street races, but that doesn't affect his championship run at 61 Cartway. He's doing Margay Ignite stuff, but I think with the way he's been performing at 61, whatever he has to drop with the Margay racing, he won't have a problem making that up in points with the way he's been running. So that leaves on the table, who do I think will win? Well, we got Nick Ockenfels, who has a free year of racing, right? And was last year's championship, and he seems like a logical choice, other than the fact that I think he's kind of going to do a lot of 206 Cup stuff this year.
Yeah, and didn't he say he wanted to get back and doing track days too?
Yeah,
like
so I don't know if we'll see him at 61 Cartway competing for a championship nearly as much this year. The other side of that is, because he's running 206 Cup, he's going to be running Vega tires, I think, more.
Yeah.
And I just conducted a test at 61 Cartway, and I found out that Vega tires may not be the fastest tires. So.
Oh my God! You heard it here first. Vegas suck. Sell them. Buy Hoosier.
They don't. I didn't say buy Hoosiers. I didn't say Vegas suck either. They're a very good tire, but I don't think they're the tire that's going to win you the championship at 61 Cartway if you're going to compete against you or Gage Kemp. And that brings me to who I actually think is going to win the championship. It's my buddy Nelson right here.
Hold on, you just contradicted yourself, because I'm running Vega Reds.
You are running Vega Reds, but I believe you're going to run Hoosiers at some point.
This is true. This is true. I probably will run Hoosiers at some point.
I also believe you're more dedicated to the 61 Cartway Championship than a lot of other competitors around you, like Nick, like Gage, who's going to be running the Margay stuff, like Peppers, who's going to have other things going on in the summer. So I think the consistency of you showing up and the performance you found throughout the past years, because I mean, last season, at the end of the year, I ran behind you, and you ran a faster lap time than me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't pass Nelson. And, I think you're going to be a legitimate contender for the championship. Gage is going to give you a good run for your money, and it's going to be difficult with someone like that racing against you, but I think you're going to give him a good run for his money, and that you'll be the 2018 season championship. I know I'd like to see you win the championship. So that's my prediction for who's going to win the 2018 championship at 61 Cartway.
All right, well, I appreciate the confidence, and I don't know if everything you're doing this year, what your schedule is, but I think you'll probably be up there in the fight somehow, to some degree.
Yeah, I'm missing this weekend because of Sugar River.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that'll be past my maximum drops, so I'll have a 0 in the category somewhere for sure. And then when school starts, it always gets kind of hectic with how that'll work.
You see, this is why you need to have gone to school somewhere in the Quad Cities area, so it's not like, down to Peoria, and race and all this.
I have no problem with drop. It's I gotta get permission to race to come from
permission.
Permission. So. I think by the end of summer, I'll probably work my way up to about third in points. But I don't think with you and Gage running as consistently as you are, I don't think I'll be able to pass either of you two in points without showing up to every 61 race till the end of the season and winning or getting second. So that's why I have you picked. But it's going to be a fun season.
Yeah.
It's going to be good old-fashioned four-cycle racing. We've got a couple of big events coming up, so that's going to be exciting. The first of which, I guess we should start off with this.
Before we get into that, I just want to say
to
the viewers here, I think that the idea of doing our crystal ball segment today instead of a month ago before anyone started racing actually works out really good. Because I feel like we kind of would have had all these preconceived notions of who was going to run well, who would show up more. But now
we kind of know who's going to show up.
Well, we kind of don't, actually.
And we kind of don't.
And a lot of people that we did think were going to be there, i.e. the McDonald's, are not. So doing it now actually kind of has made it foggier than it would have been a month ago.
And I think we're going to get more competitors as the season goes on. John Shaw has told me he's got a kart to race.
Fred keeps saying he has one.
Fred's been saying he's had one for 3 years now.
Yeah, but I mean, just last weekend he was like, I've really got one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the McDonald's, I think, will end up showing up at some point during the season. I don't know when, but I do think they're going to add into the mix of the championship. We can't forget about our double points event, because I think that's going to throw a huge swing into how things play out for the championship. So you never know. And then, I mean, whenever Nick decides to not be a baby about his ribs and show up. Yep, I just called him out on that.
Wow.
I just called him out on that. But, it's going to be a fun season. We have no idea who could win this championship, in all honesty, still. It's wide open.
Definitely. So, with that being said, I think it's about time we shift from looking to the past to what's going to be happening soon. And let's kick things off with the money race at Sugar River Raceway.
Yeah, this weekend there's a big money race at Sugar River in Boarhead, Wisconsin. I'll be going out there, and I know Matt Payway's, not said to me he's going out there, but he's got someone trying to convince him. Chad Patch is going out there. Michael Welsh is. Jerry Miller, I think, is going out there too. So a group of 61 Cartway guys. Also, Morgan Schuler is going to go out and race. Carter Pease is thinking about going out and racing in that. And then I know for sure the Bone Traegers are going to show up. which is always a fun gang just to be around. And then Jesse Colossi, that's his home track, as well as Justin Wishard, so they're going to be there. And then hopefully a couple other local guys will be there as well. But it's $500 to win in heavy and $750 to win in the medium class.
Wow.
Yeah, so big paydays for somebody.
Yeah, and I mean, note that he did omit my name from that. I will be racing at 61 with a merry little gang there. So Don't think just because they're offering money up in Wisconsin that those of us in Iowa won't be here. So if you're hearing this and you're debating if you even want to bother racing at 61 this weekend, come on out. I'll be there. It sounds like we'll be getting. It sounds like Gage is going to be racing.
Gage will be there. Ken.
Yeah, Ken is fine. Ken Johnston is finally going to be coming back.
Yep, he's our champion from 2016, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
And then I think we'll probably get
I'm getting a feeling that we're going to get someone like Brett Dirks back out there.
Yeah, you're going to get.
Or I don't know. Man, I just had a blank. Josh Havlick, maybe?
Yeah, I think John Shaw might be out there this weekend.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to go to Sugar River or if he's going to be at 61, but I think he might be at 61 this weekend.
Or are you saying Dittmer might decide to go out to 61 as well?
Dittmer might go out to 61. Yeah, that was who I was thinking of.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny you said actually, because that was who I was originally thinking of when I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole thing that I just said is to you, Dittmer. Come on, get out and race. I don't want this to just be me engaged out there. We need more people.
Yeah. I think there should be a decent turnout.
Yeah.
I know I'm texting people to see what their racing plans are, so maybe I can text McDonald's and see if they'll get out there or not.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I don't think numbers will be bad at 61. I think we'll have good numbers still out there.
Yeah.
But other than Sugar River and 61, there's also Davenport Cartway, and they're having a doubleheader this week.
Yeah, so I have been out of the loop, I'll be honest, on Davenport. What exactly does this double entail? Is this a money deal at all?
No, there's no money involved. It's just 2 club races, from my understanding. And I believe there might be a mechanics race or something one day.
So
and
this
then
is
a powder puff race the other day, I think, too.
Okay, so this is supposed to be like a Saturday, Sunday type of deal then?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday deal. It sounds like they're setting up to have a pretty good time down at Davenport. I know I'll probably go Saturday to at least watch. I may even do a broadcast from the Davenport Cartway track if they have Wi-Fi out there. So
now hold on. Is that this weekend or next weekend?
That's this weekend.
What about, are you going to be in Sugar River?
I'm leaving Sunday morning bright and early.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's okay. I was just thinking since it's a long drive, you might stay over there. Okay.
Yeah, no,
that works out then.
Leave at like 6 o'clock. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, sounds fun.
I mean, you could wake up at 5:30 and go. That would be cool too.
I mean, if you give me a gallon of coffee, perhaps.
A gallon of coffee, done. It's a done deal. Nelson's going to Sugar River.
I never said that.
Yep.
Well, I just got done saying that.
A gallon of coffee is all it took, and I've got a gallon of coffee somewhere in my house to give him. So, no, but
that actually sounds disgusting.
I don't like coffee.
Yeah, no, I just meant that as like figuratively that I'm gonna need a lot of coffee getting up that stinking early, and here you are like, oh, what do you know? I happen to have a gallon of coffee in my fridge. Or something. I don't know.
I'm not from Alabama. I mean,
what in any part of that did I imply that was an Alabama thing to keep a gallon of coffee?
But that's the racing plans for this weekend. Sugar River 61, Davenport Cartway. I don't know what your plans on Saturday are. If you come to Davenport, you can join me on the broadcast.
I might watch some of the racing, but I have plans for most of Saturday afternoon, actually. So
if I can find a way, folks, I will do a live broadcast from Davenport Cartway. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you posted on the Facebook page, and hopefully I can figure something out. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit there and watch some races if the broadcast doesn't work out.
All right.
So with that, did we talk about 206 Cup results at all, Nelson?
We did not discuss their results. I guess I was kind of thinking that it was being like an entirely 206 Cup is kind of being like an entirely separate thing almost.
Okay.
I mean, we could get into that, but
we'll keep talking about the upcoming events, which we got a pretty big one coming up here.
No, hold on. Before we get into the big one, I think we also wanted to discuss the Concept Motor Speedway Junior High Series, is it? Or is it just a race?
So Concept Motor Speedway has been doing a really cool thing this spring, I think. It's called their Junior High Summer Racing Series.
Okay.
It's for junior high students, obviously. I'm not 100% sure how the program works, other than that it's similar to their Friday night rental racing leagues.
Which they have a huge rental fleet out there anyway, so this is perfectly suited for them.
I think it's just super cool to give junior high students an opportunity to compete against other junior high students in a go-kart, and I think it's kind of something that's been missing a little bit from karting for a little while. I know when we were racing, Nelson, we kind of liked to represent. When you started racing when you started going to school at Blackhawk, you had the big Blackhawk stickers, and I put my Assumption High School stickers on mine. And then we kind of joked about how the PV racers with Anna and Odin, and then Christian Owens was representing Davenport. The Davenport school. So,
which, to be honest, I'll probably throw a St. Ambrose sticker on my kart this fall. So,
I mean, never a bad idea.
Yeah,
I think it's always cool to kind of see the school rivalry on track. People always relate the school rivalries to stick and ball sports, but we got a little bit of it going on in karting too. But Junior High Summer Racing Series, I think, is just kind of another opportunity to bring that to the table and kind of showcase these young kids, like their talents and what they have behind the wheel of the kart. But with that, now we move into the big
return of Quincy.
Quincy.
What was that?
There's an echo in the background.
That did not sound like an echo.
Okay, so
Quincy.
This is apparently the most epic karting street race to ever hit the streets of any street anywhere ever in the world, is what I've been told.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, you're trying to get registered. I'm currently registered and have everything in place. I am confirmed I will be there. And it's going to be an interesting weekend of racing. I don't know anything about this track, but I know Tony Nielsen has stories.
I know Carter says it's too dangerous to go to.
Oh.
Or has he changed his tune on that? Because I know for a while Buddy Carter Pease was saying, no, that's too dangerous. I'm too old for this. I can't do it and stuff.
Well, I think our friend Carter is just so shaken up from Rock Island last year that he's not a fan of street races anymore.
But it's not technically a street race. It's more of a park race.
It is. The legendary Quincy Grand Prix. So that's making its return here June 8th, 9th, and 10th, I believe, is the dates. Apparently, back in its heyday, Nelson, this race got 20,000 spectators.
And that is pretty much, like, IndyCar pulled that kind of crowd at Phoenix. So, I mean, talking like IndyCar oval crowds here, that's pretty cool.
There's been some legendary names. Jamie McMurray has raced at this event. I believe Scott Pruitt was one of the names.
Oh, yeah, and for those of you unfamiliar, Scott Pruitt was huge in the world of sports car racing, and he even touched briefly into the world of NASCAR and IndyCar. So he's a bit of a classic wheelman, as it were.
I know Eric Jones, not the NASCAR driver, but the guy for NG Tires. He's a kind of a legendary kart racer. He raced here. Tony Nielsen's mechanic at Rock Island. Trying to think of his name, but he raced here back before he was a mechanic, and he was more on the racing side of things. So some pretty great drivers have raced here over the years. I'm expecting some pretty great drivers to get to the forefront and win this Quincy in the Park, but it's also the first of the Triple Crown races, which we've kind of been talking a lot about here on the show as well, which includes Quincy, Elkhart, and Rock Island. So it'll be the first one in the Triple Crown. What are your thoughts on Quincy and Nelson?
Like, well, what about it? I guess because honestly, this place is just so
badass or scary.
Okay,
or both.
If I can use one word, it's interesting because I found some really old footage. Holy crap, this place looks scary, but it looks so much fun. Like, I cannot think of a comparable place. I mean, maybe Road America for go-karts, maybe?
Yeah.
Watkins Glen, since it's so fast and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, just the whole history aspect of it, too. Because, like, when was the last race held here?
I think 2001.
Yeah, see, I would have been 4 years old, so...
Here's the really crazy thing. This will be the 31st edition of the Quincy Grand Prix. Rock Island has only had 23 editions.
Yes.
And so, even with that,
And you know how we hype up Rock Island for how long it's been running?
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting with all the history.
Yeah, so if I had to pick one word, interesting. It looks fun. It looks dangerous. It has a huge history around it. This is not... There's a reason for everyone. There's one reason or another for everyone to go out to this race, and it's not to be missed.
You know, I talked to Ken Johnston just yesterday because he was out practicing at 61 Kartway, and I was there too. And I asked him, "Are you going to do Quincy?" He said no, but he's going down to watch, which is really cool. Because I think there's a lot of community backing behind this race. I think from social media, I heard there are people coming from out of town to Quincy to just watch this race. And I think that just shows how much it meant to the community when it was going on, and how cool of an event it was. There was a post on eKarting News about a day or two ago about kind of the legendary status of the Grand Prix. They used to have a race called the Miller Mile. It was sponsored by Miller Lite. And the past winners would race in the race. It was like the most it was like an all-star race.
Yeah, I was going to say, like an all-star race.
Yeah. So I think this race is going to be really cool. I think it's going to scare the crap out of me the first time I go out on the track.
Yeah. Isn't there a jump on the track somewhere or something like that?
According to Tony Nielsen, there's a jump on the track, which go-karts don't have suspensions. So jumping is like...
fair for your butt to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
No, you do have a suspension. It's called your ass.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Totally. Yeah. My ass suspension. Yeah.
Language, Joseph.
Oh, my bad. No. Yeah, so hopefully some of you decide to come out to that race and watch, but it should be an exciting and fun time doing Quincy in the Park June 8th, 9th, and 10th, Quincy, Illinois.
Yes.
So with that, we'll jump into 206 Cup news, right?
Yes. Yeah, 206 Cup news. So, as I had mentioned earlier, their season got underway a few weeks ago at Concept Hauler Motor Speedway, where they had how many classes?
They had 6 classes, I believe.
Oh, 6 classes. Okay. Still, for the sake of time and this stuff, we're just going to go over the heavy and medium.
Yeah, basically what are their main 2 classes. Yeah. Now you can make an argument that they maybe have 3 main classes, which we can get into.
What do you consider? Oh, yeah, no, we can get into that after the results.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm kind of interested on your take on that. Anyways, so for senior heavy on Saturday, Justin Wishard, Justin Wishard the Wizard.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. He won the first race, and after trailing him in the first race, Grant Zimmerman came through for a win on Sunday.
Always 2 fast guys right there between Zimmerman and Wishard.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking that we should have done a segment with the crystal ball for the 206 Cup. And honestly, I can't tell between either of them. Who would do that? But I mean, that's not really a segment we're actually going to do. So
no, because we don't know enough of the drivers racing in the 206 Cup this year. But Connor Lund did show up to that race, and we know that he's a past champion of the Cup. And then our very own Nick Ockenfels was there as well. Yeah. Shout out to him. He got 4th, I believe. both days.
Yeah. Then in senior medium, it was Zachary Linsell who won on Saturday, and Ryan Cassidy on Sunday. Didn't he help set up your kart?
Yeah, Ryan Cassidy helped set up my kart last year, and he's very supportive of all the Coyote drivers. So I always like seeing it when he's able to run well, and he's a great guy. Been trying to get him to 61 for a race for a while now, so hopefully we can get him to one here this year.
So if I'm giving Justin Wishard the nickname of the Wizard, can we give Ryan Cassidy the nickname of Mr. Coyote?
Sure, why not? We'll call him Mr. Coyote.
All right. And looking ahead, the Central Division of the 206 Cup, because don't forget that's a thing still. They have the North, Central, and even Florida. That reminds me of something. But anyways, the next race will be for the Central Division down in Springfield, June 2nd. So that's the week right before Quincy. Yep. So if you want to run both those races, that can be done. And then week right after Quincy, June 16th, 61 Kartway.
Oh, yeah.
For the North Division.
Yes.
And that will be a night race, which they've never done that in 206 Cup, have they?
Nope, this will be the first night race. And Greg Jasperson, I believe, wants everyone to be clear on this. The night race is happening Saturday night. Sunday will still be a day race because people got to get home. Oh, yeah. So Saturday night race, under the lights, 61 Kartway. It'll be an exciting time. I know I kind of miss racing under the lights at 61. So it'll be fun to get back under the lights there. And then Sunday, it's a day race. So if you're worried about getting home, don't be worried. It's same schedule as normal for Sunday.
Yeah. And then I was also going to note, too, how we were talking about the Central and North divisions, but don't forget about the Florida division.
Well,
now, and I was going to say, so I don't have my notes on that, so you might have to correct me here. But I believe it was their first race ended up having to be canceled, was it?
So, actually, eKarting News did a segment on this with Greg Jasperson. They are not doing the Florida division this year because
they're not doing it at all.
Because they didn't have the right pieces kind of fit together exactly the way they wanted it. So they're not by any means giving up on the Florida division.
No, they don't have the go ahead this year.
Yeah, so they're going to push it off one more year. If they do it, they want to do it right.
Yep.
And so I applaud Greg for wanting to do it right and do it the right way and not rushing into it too fast. So they're going to wait, looks like at least another year until they move into Florida. And then they still have the North and the Central divisions, though, so it'll be fun to watch those. And a note on those series, both of them competed at Concept Haulers together.
Yes, that was a joint event, so those results will count towards both North and South division.
Yeah, and then from there, Mid-State is specifically Central, and 61 is specifically North.
Yeah. So that sums up our 206 news here. Although, I mean, although we were gonna have that discussion then about the 3 main classes. What'd you consider the third?
So the CIK class is kind of exploded. I think your surprise and my surprise this year for 206 Cup. They tried it last year at Grand Nationals, but because it was at Newcastle, I think we all expected there to be a good turnout because they run a 206 CIK class. But this year they've added it to their regular program, and it was one of the bigger classes.
Yeah, they had exactly 20 entries in that class at Concept Hauler Motor Speedway.
Now, to be fair, there were actually quite a bit of junior entries, too. I think, if I remember right, the juniors had the most pre-registered entries out of anybody. And so really interesting to see that because juniors are the future of the sport. And it's really cool and really fun to see the kids out there racing.
Yes, definitely. I just thought of this since we kept mentioning the Concept Hauler Motor Speedway. But did we talk about this last show? How was it SCUSA that had? I might be getting my national series mixed up, but there was one that was supposed to race at New Jersey Motorsport Park, a big track for cars.
Yeah.
And then you remember what I'm talking about now?
I know that.
Did we talk about that last show?
I don't know if we did, but I know Newcastle has what was the WK, or I think a WKA series.
WKA, that's
coming to Concept Haulers.
No.
It was going to be somewhere else, but they wanted to establish
It was supposed to be New Jersey Motorsport Park.
But they wanted to have something in the Midwest, so they decided Concept Haulers was the perfect fit for that.
Okay, that might have been their reasoning.
Yeah.
But I did read an article on eKarting News about this.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember if we talked about this on the last show? No? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, still, I just think this is pretty cool because this has kind of been a theme throughout our show regarding professionalism in karting, especially if you got to like the Nationals in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
How everyone's got basically like a formula type racing trailer and stuff. And you never see guys like us with a like a little trailer or a pickup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
About how some degrees of karting are getting too professional and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, WK, one of their series, was supposed to race at the New Jersey Motorsports Park, which that might not be as big as like Road America, but Trans Am and a few SCCA Formula Series race there. Mm-hmm. So it's like a big car track basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, the
really getting back to their roots.
Exactly, and that's what the eKarting News article I was reading was spinning this as. They're like, this is the WKA finally waking up and realizing that. And what you were saying about needing a Midwestern event, I'm sure that's part of it.
That's part of it.
That might even be the main reason. But this too, that WKA realized that they need to get back to their roots, back to who these actual, I shouldn't say actual, but, guys.
These purpose-built kart tracks.
Purpose-built kart tracks and the people that race there, like Joseph, I, and most of you guys listening.
And one of the things I think we both really like and appreciate about the 206 Cup is that it visits those kart tracks that are essential to the lifeblood of karting.
Yeah.
61 Kartway, Badger Kart Club, Midstate Kart Club, the track in Camden, Ohio. Those are kart tracks that are essential to keeping the sport of karting alive, and giving them an event like the 206 Cup really helps them to have a good weekend and promote their track in a good way. And so the WKA is following that same path, trying to do that, as you said. Very good point, Nelson. Yeah.
So we might have talked about that last show. I can't even remember, but it's important stuff, and it's important stuff, and it's just something I'm really proud of them for doing. So I just thought it had to be said.
Yeah, for sure. Very good point.
Yeah. So that about covers everything.
Yep.
Gone over results. We've looked ahead to the upcoming events. We've gone over the 206 Cup. We've even kind of talked about just like general news here in the industry. Can you think of anything else that we should mention to our audience here?
I can't think of anything else we really need to mention, but I do have a question for you about which three of the Triple Crown events are you most excited for? I guess 4 events, because we'll throw the Brickyard in there. So which 4 of the events are you most excited for?
Okay, well, you see, you just made it easy there by throwing that.
Yeah.
The Brickyard, because Indy just means so damn much to me. And yes, I know that's not a karting track, as is like the history of, say, Quincy or Rock Island or even Elkhart. But Indy just means so much to me personally that it is legitimately a bucket list item. Like, I'll be happy once I compete there. So, Indy, what about you?
I'd say I'm probably most excited for Quincy, because it's like the one that's coming most recently, but probably also because it just is so nerve-wracking, the amount of danger that is associated with that race.
And it's kind of like the original one, isn't it? With how long it's been around?
Yeah, it's also, the track is over a mile in length, which is insane.
Wow.
So, I think, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be, I think, a fun weekend. Plus, if there's 20,000 spectators there, that's one of the greatest feelings in the world, I think, is racing in front of a crowd of people.
Can we do Bristol-style driver intros while we're there?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think we should do it for our 61 challenge at the very least.
Oh, hell yeah.
Driver of the number 98, Nelson Yelensky.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, we should talk to Tony about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe get some of the stuff like a DJ booth or something.
That's Carter's all over.
Yes!
The David Cole of Radio Kart.
Oh, God.
Carter Pease. I can see it now. He'd have the sunglasses on.
Oh, God, yeah.
Record.
Yeah.
Kind of that thing going on.
Yeah, I can, like, totally visualize it. It's totally something to do.
Well, I guess that wraps up our show. So thank you all for listening. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. But until next week, because both Nelson and I are back from school, so we'll be doing this on a weekly basis again.
Yep.
Until next week, so long, everybody. I'm Joseph.
I'm Nelson, and it's been a good show.